Good morning, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with Coach Caren all the way from Toronto, Canada. I want to give a shout out to my friend and co-host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. We wish her well in all her endeavors on the road today. In addition to that, we want to thank everybody watching on the replay and say, hey, we're so happy to have you. And for those of you watching live, come on and join in the conversation. Let's get this started. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I read it on the internet machine that you were having a birthday. So happy birthday. And for all of those who watched the replay, make sure you give a shout out to Coach Caren today.
I got up to my inbox and my page and I was like, what is all these people inboxing me?
What can I tell you?
Crazy.
We love you.
Thank you.
Oh my
nice.
goodness.
Nice.
So last week we talked about how to get paid from your entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yes. But we're in a new month. This is a new month. We're in August, guys. August, September, October, November, December. We're in August.
Wow. So quickly. It went so quickly.
So quickly. Everybody thought this year they were going to catch up and do a lot of things. But I tell you, this year, if you really think about it, last year you were in shock mood. So this year is recovery and trying to figure out some things. Okay. Because that's what this year is about. And if you look at it this way, you're not frustrated with yourself. You're not annoyed with you. You're going to just be doing what you need to do. Mm-hmm. That's how you really need to look at life. And having said that, today we're talking about consistency. Mm-hmm. I want to make it simple across the board, just plain old consistency, because as Terry just mentioned, last week we spoke on how to pay yourself.
Yes.
You are not consistent in the business. How are you going to pay yourself? You know, when you got a job, the owner consistently have to figure out.
Payroll, right?
Payroll. Huh. Consistently is the top of your mind.
Wow. I never even thought about that. The fact that when we have employees, we do have to figure out, it's getting cold in here, I'm sorry, air conditioning.
Yes.
You have to figure out payroll.
Yes.
Wow.
We got to figure out how we're going to pay them.
Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, Cecilia. And so many businesses pay their staff, because I had a good friend and they'd pay their staff and then they wouldn't get paid.
Yes.
You know, the focus was making sure everybody's paid so they can come to work and the business can keep going.
Correct.
And meanwhile, they were really starving. And really it's because the business wasn't profitable. But they couldn't hear it because this was a big business that made millions of dollars and they were starving. And so I said that the other day, either write it or I got it in a blog coming up talking about you can make 6 to 7 figures and still be broke, still not be profitable in your business. And people say, but how is this possible? Because if the business wasn't set up right to begin with, you don't know this. And if you didn't get somebody to come in and help you investigate, maybe other eyes on it, because you can have a great idea, but you might not know how to run a business.
Yes.
So you don't understand all the undertaking a business take to really come to fruition, to be profitable and do. Now, the little profits I talk about every now and then when I'm talking, this is real and true. But some people do not know how to escalate that to anything else. And so they just that's why I like to say they have a thing. They do a thing. They got to hustle, but they don't really have a business, because a business is a big undertaking. It's really of birthing a child and don't know what to do and figuring it out. But the parent who don't know what to do, that is willing to ask a lot of questions. You know, these days you can research online, just investigate what needs to get done. That helped that parent, not necessarily to be a better parent than the other, but it helped that parent to feel more confident in themselves when parenting. And so the same goes for business. When you have a business and you're not sure where it's to go, Now we have business coaches, and we've always had them. So let me self-correct here. We always had business coaches, but if you never knew that they were such a thing, you just didn't
Yes.
know they were such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Auditors are not business coaches, but if you bring in somebody, they play that role partially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had a friend, that's what she did, but she did it for the government, and people used to be scared of her, coming
Yes.
to audit.
Because there are 10,000 ways to get indicted on a federal grant.
Right?
I know because I used to be, be a grantor. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she said, people would be shivering in their pants when she go to see them.
Yes.
And she was this tiny little thing. But she said she would always tell small business owners, don't wait for it to get to this point. Get somebody in and get this looked after so that if you are audited, you've got things that we can talk about, because it's not a very, and you're done. The government really wants you to be in business so that you can hire people. So it's less unemployment.
Yes, we really do.
But people don't get that. They don't understand that they want, so they don't have to worry about that. So you need to really understand this sort of thing. There's all these understandings. So today, after I tell you all that, we're really talking about what's the most important thing in being consistent and how is this going to change your income stream, because we talk about paying yourself, and how would this really make you feel. And we don't want to talk about feeling in business, but honestly, it's the feeling that caused all the corruption, the emotion, mentally and physically, that causes all this sort of behavior inside of you. That's happening because if you haven't done some things for yourself personally, you carry over that baggage into your business. And sometimes you don't even know it's there. You don't even know it's there. So investigation, and you guys know I talk about that a lot, is the key.
Now these little things that carry over into our business, are you talking about things like anxiety, uncertainty?
Yes.
Not knowing if you're profitable or not. Should I order more inventory because I don't know, what's really going on? Am I living off of the company credit card versus a salary? Are these the kinds of things we're talking about?
Those are some of the things, but those things to more define it. If you've been living off of your credit card, that is something you did when you had a job and didn't have enough money, so you didn't take care of that. But why did that happen? Honestly, why did that happen? Because if you don't have enough money and you use your credit card, let's say to pay your rent, let's get basic, and buy food, right?
Okay.
That's what you needed to do because you're not bringing in enough money. Your focus becomes, how do I pay back this credit card? And then I'm hungry again. How do I buy more food? But your focus should be, I'm at this job with this amount of money. Let me look at my budget to see what I can truly afford and how I'm going to make this happen. Now, this is hard. That's why I talk about feelings a lot. This is hard to do when you're in this panic mood. This is very hard to do, but I want to say it's doable.
Okay. I'm so glad to know that.
Doable.
I know we can make this happen.
It is doable. I always bring this up because sometimes, and I know I've been in that place where I used to wonder how I'm going to make this happen, especially when I first got into debt and I had never been in debt my whole life. And sitting down and asking the questions, really crying about it. Let me just tell you the steps. You got to cry about it. If you're not a crier, cry and release it. Don't be no brave, strong person. You're alone in the room. Sit your butt down and feel your feelings. You don't have to ask for tears. It's going to come out because it wants to go. You've been storing it up. Because you've been doing whatever. You've been storing it up. Sit there, however long it takes, and get it out. Pick up a pen and paper and start writing. It's not going to be good. It's going to be messy and nasty. You're going to blame yourself. You're going to be uncomfortable.
Look at my face.
But once it's out of the way, it cannot attack you again, because that I just speak up attacks you in different forms, because somebody had told you you're an overspender, or they told you, whatever they told you that causes and ignite that spark for you to go down this rabbit hole, it's going to keep attacking you. So that's where you have to deal with it. Because if you don't deal with it, when you open this business now, and as you just mentioned, inventory, let's say, you had a big order and you decided you're going to spend money that you don't have to bring in this inventory and nobody buys it. you're going to go back into, well, I know I shouldn't have done it. I should have listened to myself, or listened to Kim, or listened to Sandra, whomever you think you need to think you should listen to, when it's
Mhm.
not true. The truth is you weren't consistent. If you were consistently marketing yourself and understanding how you sell and understanding what needs to be in your store, you would have watched your consistent pattern and know that you need to order what you need to order. Now, let's say you did order it and you can't do anything about it. Now, your job is to go and sell it. Simple. Kind is not simple. Yes, it is. You got to go sell it. Les Brown had said that. He said he had a contact once he was going to do a speech, and he ordered from this guy without money, and he promised the guy whatever. I can't think it's about 100 or 100,000 whatever books to sell. The contact died, and the company, she's part of the company, and they weren't going to have him do the speech anymore. And he said, what I'm going to do in this inventory, I owe this guy money, and the interest on this is going to be crazy. And he started asking the question. He said, what do I do? Well, I get up every day and I knock on every door I know and I tell them about my book. He said, at the end of the week, I only sell about 100 books. And I've got all these books to sell. And every time I sell a book, I go back and I say to the guy, you see, I'm selling my books. At least I'm making progress. And the guy said, that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Sell your books until they're done so that I can be paid. Sometimes we're so afraid. Another case in point, my mom used to send me to sell after school. And she sent me to this friend who said, come to my place and you would be sold out in no time. That's the spiel she gave my mom. And I got there and the lady, of course, didn't really mean it. So I was there and she's hiding from me. And I am telling you, she's hiding. And I tell my mom, and I was like, no, Martelli wouldn't do that. She's hiding. She's hiding because she gave my mom this false hope. Now, we needed to eat from that. So I got up after the second day. I went there and I said, you know what? I'm going to go to everybody I know and don't know to sell. People laugh at me. I went to my friend's house because it's like door to door I'm going. So I get laughed at. I get, tell a lot of things that I'm not going to get into. But my one focus was, this is how we eat. This is how my mom paid her rent. Period. So you can laugh, but this is what's going to happen. And I'm not going home until I'm sold out.
Okay.
That was my motto. I'm not going home until I'm sold out. Was I embarrassed? Yes. Did I want to die? Most times, especially when I meet kids that I was in school with and they knew that I had my own business and did well. And now this is what I'm doing in my head. I was really in my head and couldn't get out of it, but I would still forge through. Folks, the painful part is most things that we got to do in business is really painful, and you got to push through to get through. When you talk about praying on yourself, people always ask a prayer, but you need to pray on yourself. I was a little girl, but I was a teenager. But boy, did I pray on myself. I pray on myself as I walk to the next house. I pray that they would buy a package or two. And if I see a crowd, I would get excited, even though inside of me is dying. And I would just tell them, I'm like, guys, if you buy for one person, you're going to have to share it with everybody. You might want to buy everybody a pack. And usually I would be sold out if it's a big enough crowd. And I'll forge you. And although we're online, this is the same thing we have to understand. So I knew every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I got to go sell my mom package after school. And every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I pump myself up and I'm out there selling. My goal, whatever I go with, must be sold out. If I'm sold out in an hour, I need to go back and bring more and start the journey again, because I can give her more money for the weekend for the bigger selling. And I would just keep at it. Selling is not everybody's strong suit. I get it. Most people love what they do, but they don't necessarily want to sell what they do. But over time, because I've been doing it so often now, people who see me and just call, hey, Caren, what you got today, girl?
Exactly. People actually call me up and ask me, do you have a cover up that looks like da 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 da? Yeah.
Yeah. They start calling out to you. So now it's not as painful because you had to get through that painful part. Had I given up and let Martelli behavior stop me, I'd go back home with my mom goods. And then what are we going to do? How is she going to support us? I had two other little sisters. Like, what are we supposed to, you know, at least I took it really as I didn't have to.
Yeah.
My responsibility
Responsibility. Yeah.
of helping, because she's the creative, she know what to do. But I now I'm the person who's helping herself. And it's not easy, I get it. But it's the consistency. I really want to stress that. It's because every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, people expect me. If I wasn't there a week and I got there the next week, let's say I got sick, maybe I got wet in the rain and I got a cold, and I'm, girl, where were you? We're looking out for you. Where were you? People really and truly, once they get used to you and they expect whether your quality or whatever, you know, that is tying you to them, and they buy from you. Because that's the key. People are buying from you. I know they're wearing your cover up. I know they're using my services, but they're truly buying from me. They're buying into the idea that I can help them. I have the thing they need. That's why I never worry about other coaches, because the kind of coaching I do is the type of people that I coach to needs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
that's the people you need. My friend's son used to do karate, and he had this coach who used to push him and just get him really set up in his head, mentally, emotionally, and everything, for tournaments. And then she got sick and she put somebody else in place. Let me tell you, that karate school lost so many kids when the assistant took over. She didn't understand customer service. She was really rough and intimidating to the kids. Kids were crying to return, and kids weren't returning. People started looking elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Same happened to my son. He used to do karate, and this guy was he was a cursor. There's not a way to put it. He just cursed the kids. And my son told me, and I said, "What?" And he says, "Mom," I said, "No, Pierce, you got to be kidding. He's a big, he wouldn't do that." He goes, "Mom, come sit down." And I sat on the outside and I heard 2 bombs drop. Because most of us drop our kids and come back to pick them up.
Yeah.
And so he didn't expect me to be, I was like in a corner. You can't see me from where I was sitting, and calling to the kids stupid and what have you. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Now karate's supposed to build up your self-esteem.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And your confidence. And here you are.
Cursing and carrying on. Myself and quite a few of us pull our kids away. Eventually he had to close down, because I'm sure other parents over time learn what he's doing. When I spoke to him about it, he said he's trying to motivate the kids. You can't curse my kid into motivation. Mm-hmm. That's not how it works. So what I'm saying is, you got to be consistent in whatever you do. And when you first start out with any type of consistency, you're going to feel pain. You're going to feel like you don't want to do it. And when you skip over that crucial part, that's when you start sinking. But mostly you don't notice it right away. It happens a little at a time. I had this thing that I would say to myself when I first started my cleaning business, and it was very hard. I would say to myself, I could not do certain areas of things, right? Mm-hmm. But nobody else would know, but God would. And like, I would keep it in my head. I said, nobody else would know, but God would. So I'm not going to skip it over, especially when it was very, very hard.
Yes.
I want to skip it over. And through being so honest and doing the work I could do, I would get big, big contracts. I remember once I got this contract for a restaurant makeover. It used to be on TV. And they called my company in. And I'm not going to lie to you. They called me. I hang up the phone. And the guy called me right back. I'm like, "Are you playing with me?" He goes, "I would never play. I'm going to send over the contract. I'm going to send everything over via email to verify." Because when you're consistent and you're doing what you got to do, God come in and just support you. Mm. He just help you grow and do. A lot of people say, "I'm praying, but nothing is happening." But what are you doing? Because every time you say a prayer, God is guiding you to the next step. And usually those steps are not easy. They're very difficult, but he's watching you get through them, and he's helping you get through them. But you got to believe that he's helping you get through them. So you got to keep doing. And then you don't see anything that shows that he's helping you, but he is.
He said he'll bless everything you set your hand to.
Right?
You got to set your hand to it.
Set your hand to it. And you got to keep doing it. So he's seen that consistently, and he's keep helping you. And you keep doing. And then one day you notice that things are coming to fruition. You're like, oh my God, this just happened. A woman said it really nice the other day. She said, everything I prayed for, I've gotten. But it happened over time, which is true. I look around and see the things that I prayed for years ago. And sometimes I have to stop and pause and say, but it really came through.
This is
God. It really happened. And I didn't even notice when it happened because I was busy working away on the things I'm supposed to do. And then here it is in my arms, right? Here it is. And this really helps you with your income stream. Could you imagine if you needed to, and this is what everybody says, too much work. But if you decide I'm going to post on Instagram for 30 days straight, 3 times a day, then do it. But if you know that you could only post 1 time a day, you sit your butt down and you create content and graphics for 30 days, 30 pieces for each day. And then you find a program and you put it in so that it can spill it out and you check in so you can answer questions if somebody asks a question. Now, when you sit down to do it, understand if you're a newbie, it's probably going to take you a whole week. Don't try to do it in a day. Do some of it. Go walk around your yard, around your house, have a cup of tea, whatever. Get back there and do it. Set up a spreadsheet or whatever you need to do so that you can keep track of what's happening because of the social media content that you created. You got to keep track. You got to know how people are responding. You got to know what's going on because that is part of your income. I know you can't see it, but this is the part where we pray and we can't see what's happening. It's working. Somebody get to know you in that 30 days. Somebody talk to you in your process in that 30 days. Did you reach out to them? Did you talk to them? Did you find out how you can help them? Did you let them know that they can tell somebody who needs your help in that 30 days? And then you do it again. And then you do it again. You consistently do it. Don't do 3 days if you know you can only do 1 time a day.
Wow. So we're talking today about being consistent.
And it really, truly makes you feel good when you're in a habit. You know, that's what people love habits, right? If you're a smoker, you go outside and smoke. Nobody got to tell you. You go smoke. If you're a drinker, you go drink because it's pleasurable habits. Business habits is harder if you were a sewer, a hairdresser, I don't know, a mechanic, and all you did was do cars, but now you got to market to somebody to know that you're a mechanic or you're a hairstylist. This is what a part. That's what you feel it's hard. It's not hard, but you feel that it's hard to do.
Okay.
But the minute you do it, I promise you, the minute you do it several times, and you form that habit, all of a sudden, or it feels like all of a sudden, it's not as hard anymore. But it's just because you've been doing it. So it's gotten softer and softer versus harder and harder, because anything you play in your head over and over, it feels very hard because it's just a mental game you're playing versus getting out there and getting it done. You know, getting it done. So many people talk about reading a lot of books, and I used to be one of those people. A couple of years ago, I started reading just, 3 to 7 books a year at the most, because I asked myself the question, I'm like, why am I reading the book? Because it was recommended to me? Sure. What else? I expect to learn something from the book. Did I apply what I learned? If I'm not applying what I learned, why am I reading 20, 24 books? How many weeks in the year? Just to tell people I read 52 books this year and I did nothing with it? No. I want to read books so that I can apply the knowledge that I gathered from the book. Because I know when I write a book, people's going to use it. It's going to help them do something. And if I'm reading a book to help me be better at what I already know or what I don't know, Why am I not applying it? Then why did I take time out of my day to read the book? That's just on me.
Well, we have a comment here from Cecilia. She says, it's with everything that's important. It's hard and painful to start and get through, but once it's done, it's not that hard.
So on point, Cecilia. Right on point.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
We have Yolanda in the house. Oh,
Hi,
Mark
Yolanda.
here. Mark says you have to be careful not to fall victim to analysis paralysis.
Yes, Mark.
Continuing to wait for everything to be perfect before acting.
Mhm.
Jump in. You'll learn what you need along the way. I love it.
Yes. You sure will. You
Mhm.
sure will. Everybody want to set up everything right, get a logo right, get a website right. You're going to change your website 100 times. Boy, do I know it. And you're going to move things around and it's going to work. And all the while, you're going to be working it. Most people that is selling might not tell you anything online, but they have sold a lot. They have hurt a lot. As I was talking about me walking around and selling and knocking on doors, even when I was a kid selling in school, I talk about it nice now, but I was nervous. And I told you guys that on the blog, I would be there holding on to my container instead of showing it to people and, not wanting to be judged. Because really, that's what it is. We don't want people to think that we don't have enough money. So if we sell, it's desperate that we want money. I want more money. So I'm selling to you. Just say
Well, life is nothing without commerce. There's always an exchange of conversation,
Yes.
an exchange of emotions,
Yes.
an exchange of. There's always something being exchanged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Do you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And so if we think of it that way, that it's just part of the whole exchange universe,
Yeah.
the universe of exchange,
Yeah.
then it's not as daunting as I want to sell stuff.
Because somebody wants to buy your stuff.
Mhm.
Somebody truly wants to buy your stuff because it's going to help them do whatever it is they need to get done. Some things that I might not know in business, I can't know everything. I just can't know everything. And then when I learn something new and it's going to help me move further along, I'm going to pay for it. This is going to help me set up some things that I don't have, that I can put on automation. So I'm not getting upset and I'm not trying to tell the person it's too expensive. I'm going to buy it or don't.
Well, Mark says money is simply congealed energy. It is a representative exchange. No shame in the game. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. No
We're
shame.
constantly in a state of commerce, whether we realize it or not.
Or not, yeah.
Just because money doesn't change hands doesn't mean that something hasn't changed hands.
Exactly.
Or moved from person to person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Must move around. It must circulate. It must move around, come back around. You got to sell. If you don't sell, you're not making any income.
It's not why we're in business. We're in business to make an income, right, Coach?
Yes. I always tell people if they're complaining, I'm like, okay, would you go to work every day and not be paid? If you had a job and they say to you, you got to come to work, but I will not pay you, will you go?
Would you show up? Like Mark said, there's no shame in the game.
Yes, yes. Consistency is key, though. You got to be consistently doing what you set out to do. You get paid because you show up every day to work. If you do not show up every day to work, you're not going to be paid. If it's 5 days a week you sign up for, that's it. Flex work, that's it. When you want to make certain monies, you show up. My last job was 12-hour shifts. I work 4 on, 3 off, 3 on, 4 off. We got to show up to work to be paid. We had to show up to work to be paid. If we don't show up to work, we're not paid. Plain and simple. So
there you go, guys. So in the game.
Be consistent. You start a business, consistently do what you need to do. Understand what your office hours are. Understand if you're a creative, what your creative time is. Note it. If you want to really enjoy, this is the other thing, I like to say to people, if you just want to paint for the fun of it, go ahead. If you're a painter or so, whatever, do the fun part. Set aside some fun time, but don't mix it up with the time that you have to be paid for it. You got to time it. You got to know it. That's the only way you're going to be profitable in it.
All right, guys. You heard it from Coach Caren. Be consistent. We just want to say again, happy birthday, Coach.
Thank you.
And we want to give a shout out to all of you guys who took the time out to spend some time with us this morning here on BizChicks TV. Thank you, Mark, Yolanda, Cecilia, and all of you who are watching on the replay. We just want to say, hey, have a great day.
Yes.
Mark says, happy birthday, Caren.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much, guys. And make sure you give a shout out to Coach Caren. If you're looking for Coach Caren, you can find her on Profits in Daily. And let me find a little banner because I'm not in my banners. I apologize, guys. Because sometimes I mispronounce things and I want you to be able to spell it. So here it is. Coach Caren, Profits in Daily. Coach Caren with a C.
Where is he?
All the way from Canada. Coach Caren from Canada. Whoa, that's a tongue tire.
You're right.
Say that 10 times fast. And you can find her everywhere on the web under Profits in Daily.
Yes.
If you're looking for someone to help you get through the headspace of making money in your business, the lady you want to talk to. So, we've got some other comments over here. I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh, Brenna says happy birthday. How you doing, Brenna?
Hi, Brenna.
Good to have you in the house. Yep. Cecilia says happy birthday, Coach. So we're all wishing you many happy returns of the day. And with that, guys, we want you to remember, go to the front of your own mind.
Yep.
Have a great day. And also, we want you to know that there's going to be a women's business conference in Sacramento, California. It is complimentary for admission. Also, they have tables for vendors. So if you want to know more about it, I will be putting that information in the chat tomorrow because I don't have it pulled up today. But and we don't want to belabor you. We know you've got a business to run, but we will have that information for you tomorrow. And with that, remember, go to the front of your own line. Thanks again, Coach. We really appreciate all you do. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.